Hey guys, so today I'm going to be installing my new Equalizer 4-point sway hitch on my old Dodge Ram 1500. This is an '07 Dodge Ram. So here's all the parts for it. Let's get right to it. We've got an adjustable shank. This thing is solid and heavy. This whole thing probably weighs 60 pounds. I'll have to look that up. This is the hitch head cast. We've got the ball. It's 2 5/16, rated for 10,000 pounds. It's got a 1 1/4 inch shank, 2 1/4 inches long. That's as long as it can be. Otherwise it will start to interfere with this. Has to be torqued to 430 foot-pounds for this particular model. That's a lot. We'll have to figure out how to do that. Got the nuts and bolts, spacer and spacer washers. We'll get to that. This stuff goes on the trailer. We've got the inside link plate, outside link plate, and an L bracket. Here's all the hardware, snap pin, L brackets, and we got the pin and the cotter pin there to hold that on. And then we've got the spring arms. These are also solid, guys. These are heavy. And this is the spring arm. You use this tool to put them on if you can't jack it up high enough. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to install this adjustable hitch shank into the receiver. It can go either way. It can go like this, or it can go like this. It just depends on where the ball is going to sit when the trailer is level. So we get that in there, and then we're going to put the pin in. Put the key on. So next we're going to install the ball. So I'm just going to put this on upside down temporarily so we can get to it easier. Just hold that in place. That way. Put this guy right up under here and tighten this down. Okay, so you see how there's not a lot of room around here? So we need a thin-walled socket, 1 7/8, to get on here. And then to torque it to 430 foot-pounds, I don't have a torque wrench that goes that high, so I'm going to use a breaker bar and a 3-foot lever arm and put 150 pounds of force on it, and that should be the equivalent. Okay, so I got this 1 7/8 inch socket, big old socket with a 3/4 inch drive. And I picked up this 3/4 inch breaker bar. So, put this in here. I can tighten it up. Okay, so now we're going to get some leverage here. So I got this torque wrench, and I got some pipe here for leverage. Now if you come out 3 feet, it would be 150 pounds roughly to get you the torque you need. We're going to come out further than that. Now hold on, hold that up as good as you can, ready? Lift up on it. Good. Alright. I mean, much better if you take it to a place and have them actually torque it to the exact spec, but I think I'm pretty close. So next, I'm going to insert the spacer rivet with 5 washers on it, right there. Okay, got the spacer rivet with 5 washers. We're going to put this hitch head on the adjustable shank. Some bolts. So, not going to tighten these up yet, just get them in place. So I've got my set rivet here with 5 washers. Got these bolts are loose, just hand tight. Now my set bolt down here, I got a socket wrench on that, and see how I slowly tighten that up. See how it rotates up against there? So I just bring it up till it snugs up. There it's snug. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a turn, not much. So it's basically just snug at this point. Now I can tighten up these bolts. Okay, so now that pretty much wraps up step one. All right, so now I just gotta go buy a camper and then we'll do step two. Just picked up our camper and we're working on the second half of this hitch. All right guys, so this is what it looks like with no weight distribution. That's just the trailer sitting dead on the hitch. Okay, so we're 38, there's 39. Yeah, definitely needs adjusted. Okay, so after installing the entire hitch at the dealership, we got it home safely, but now I'm going to go ahead and basically remove it and show you guys how I installed it. So we're going to go through the process of installing it and tweaking it to get it just right. So far I just removed the spring arms, and you can see what it looks like with all of the weight of the trailer just sitting on the hitch with no weight distribution. The back end of the truck is down, the front end of the truck is up, and the front of the trailer is pitched down. So that's what we want to fix. So let's go ahead and get started on part two. Okay, so I've got my tongue weight scale in here. Now this trailer is rated for about 740 pounds tongue weight, unloaded. Let's see what we got on here. All right, we got about 950 pounds, 945. Look at that. So why the difference? Well, the dry weight probably doesn't include the jack, the propane tanks, the battery, whatever's loaded in here. It does have water in it. That's why we need this weight distribution hitch, because we got to get a lot of that weight transmitted up to the front axle and to the rear axles. Chalked up the tires on both sides so the trailer won't roll. Now I'm going to go ahead and jack it up until it's level, and then I'm going to reset that hitch head until the ball is about 2 inches above the trailer coupler. Okay, so that looks pretty level for the trailer. Now let's check the hitch. Okay, so what we're looking for is to have the top of the hitch ball about 1 inch higher than the trailer coupler. So let's just see what we've got here. Measure that up, and we're just about dead on. So that's good. Now if it was off, we'd have to take these 2 bolts out and move the hitch head up or down until we get this relationship. But we're good. Let's go to the next step. At the dealership, I went ahead and mounted this bracket right here at 30 inches, but I'm going to go ahead and move that back to 32. All right, let's take a quick look at this bracket. So we've got the L bracket here, right? And then if we look around here, we've got the outside link plate, which is thicker, and the inside link plate, thinner. The top bolt is resting right on the frame, and underneath here, you can see that bolt. There's a little gap, but that's as close as I could get it. You want to use the hole that gets as close to that frame as you can. All right, let's go ahead and move it. We're going to add the L bracket. Now normally you'd start right here in the middle, like that. Okay, 2 above, 2 below. I already did that at the dealership, and we didn't have quite enough lift on the back of the truck. So I have 2 options. I can either go up 1, that'll put more force on that bar, which will distribute more weight to the front of the truck and to the trailer. Or I could add more washers to our spacer. So I've already got 5 washers, so I'm going to go ahead and raise this one up, and we'll see how we end up on this one. It's kind of trial and error. You keep adjusting these things until you get it just right. Okay, so next I'm going to measure the wheel wells of the truck when the truck is unloaded. The hitch is not attached. We're at 39 3/4. Lift the truck up so we can get the springs in. Okay, so next Next we're going to put on the spring arms. Okay, just slide it right in here. Like that. Put this pin in here. A little cotter pin, bolt it in place. Okay, so now that's not coming out. So while we're here, I want to show you something here. This pivot point right here, see there's a lot of resistance to it moving back and forth. Well, as you're going straight down the road, if you go into a corner, then the pivot between the trailer and the truck, if they pivot, this has to move. And the friction in here is going to resist that movement. Well, that's the same thing as your sway. So that's what's resisting sway, is this point, and then the other point is when it has to slide back and forth when the trailer turns. So 1, 2, and 3, 4 on the other side. And that's your 4-point sway. Now we're going to go ahead and put it up on the bracket. I already jacked the truck way up, so this will be a lot easier. I'm still going to use this tool. Put it up in this place. Drop this little L pin in here. Lock it in. Now we're set on this side. Now there's not much force in here, but when we let this jack down, it's going to bend that, and that's what's going to distribute the weight off of the back axle and onto the front and onto the trailer. Let's do the other side. Okay, next we'll drop the weight and remeasure the wheel wells. So after making the measurements, I found that the front rose 3/8 of an inch and the back went down 2 1/4 inches. So I think I need to make another adjustment, but this time I'm going to add another washer, so I'll have to take this whole thing off. But I mean, we're close, but I want to get it a little better, so I'm going to add one more washer. So you can see that when you add more spacers in here, more washers, what happens is this whole hitch head pivots to the back, right? So it's like this, and add more washers, it pivots down. When it pivots down, it puts more of a downward angle on this, which means you need more force to raise this up on here. So you're getting more weight distribution. So 2 ways to do it. You add washers, or you can raise up this L bracket. So we raised up the L bracket 1 notch, now I'm going to add 1 washer. But it's getting dark and it's raining, so we'll have to come back in the morning. See you tomorrow. All right, good morning. So it's the next day, and I'm going to get in here. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more spacers in here because the trailer's not loaded. It'll probably need a little more help when it's loaded. So next I'm going to jack this all the way up and take the force off of this bar so I can remove the bars, and I'll take the trailer off the hitch, we'll add the spacers, and we'll go through this again. Next I got to pull the hitch head off so we can get those spacers in there. Alright, so first I'm going to loosen this bolt up a little bit. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more spacers and put that guy in there. That makes 7. The max is 8. Okay, so let's put it back on. Alright guys, when I put this back on, I'm going into that same hole there. This time I'm going to put the bolts through the opposite direction. That's just so you can push down on it when you're tightening it. Just make it a little easier. Now I'm just going to snug this up. I'm not going to tighten it. Just snug it up so that this thing can still pivot. Alright, then we're going to tighten this bolt on the back again. Alright, you'll see as I tighten it up, this is going to come together again. Alright, we get snug up. I'm just going to tighten it just a little bit more. Now, let's lower the hitch, hook it up, and see what we get. Woo, a lot of force in there now. I don't know, I might have gone too far with it. Let's measure it up and see what we got. 38. 39 and an eighth. Alright guys, so it's looking really good and all the numbers are adding up. So yeah, pretty happy with this. It's got a lot of flexibility. You can get it exactly what you want. So the last thing I'm going to do is torque all these bolts to spec. These are 320 foot-pounds. The link plates are 65 and the L bracket is 75. That's what I'm going by. You can look it up for yourself. There's 75. But yeah, we're all set to go. I think it's going to be great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.